So, starting with today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the topic number 35, that is prognosis after observing the action of the remedy. And these are the Kent's 12 observation. In previous lecture, we finished the 3 observation. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss from 4th observation. So, the prognosis after observing the action of the remedy means when we prescribe the medicine to the patient, there are different reactions that occurs in different conditions of the patient, and these are related to the Kent's 12 observation. So, in this, the first observation that is seen by Dr. Kent is that is the prolonged aggravation with final decline of the patient. This is the first observation that is seen by Dr. Kent. Then the second observation he seen, that is the long aggravation but final and the slow improvement seen in a patient. And the third observation he saw, that is the aggravation is quick, short, strong with rapid improvement of the patient. And this is the most useful observation that you see in your patient, that is with the quick, short and strong aggravation there is improvement of the patient, means your remedy is acting and you are on the path of a cure. So this is the most convenient observation that you see, the third observation. And these aggravations are in acute cases, this may seen in first few hours, and in chronic cases it may be seen in first few days. So this is the most important observation, that is the aggravation is quick, short, strong with rapid improvement of the patient. Now we will shift towards the next observation, that is the fourth observation, that is explained by Dr. Kent in next para. That is, under the fourth observation you will notice a class of cases where you will find very satisfactory cures, where the administration of the remedy is followed by no aggravation whatever. So in this there is only improvement of the patient without any aggravation. This is the fourth observation that is seen by Dr. Kent in his patient. So there is no organic disease, no tendency to organic disease. The chronic condition itself to which the remedy is suitable is not of great depth, belongs to the functions of the nerves rather than the threatened changes in tissues. That is, you will see that this aggravation is, there is no any aggravation with improvement in a patient. This is, every physician wants this observation, but it is useful in acute cases, but it is doubtful in chronic cases. As when you prescribe the medicine, there is no aggravation and only improvement of a patient. It is good sign in acute cases, but in chronic cases it is somewhat doubtful. That is, only patient is feeling that is having the improvement, but actually disease is progressing. So in that case, in some cases, it may be a doubtful. So when it occurs, that is fourth observation, there is no any organic disease is present or there is no tendency to organic disease. When you see, that is fourth observation. Then the chronic condition itself to which the remedy is suitable is not of great depth, belongs to the functions of the nerves rather than the threatened changes in the tissues, and the disease is of only functional level and there is no any changes in the tissue that leads to no aggravation at all, and there is only improvement in a patient. So you must realize that there are changes in tissue, so mark that the vital force is disturbed in flowing through the economy, and it's so slight that man with all the his instruments of precision cannot observe them. Under such circumstances, we may have sharp sufferings, but cures may come about without any aggravation. We know then that if there is no aggravation, the potency must be exactly fitted into the case. But here you have a course of things that you need not always expect. Though there is nothing but a true nervous change in the economy after a potency that is not suitable, either too crude or too high, or for that the patient you will have an aggravated state of the symptom. In cures without any aggravation, we know that the potency is suitable and the remedy curative the curative remedy provided that the symptoms go off and the patient returns to health in an orderly way. In the highest order of cure, in acute affections, yet the physician sometimes will be more satisfied if in the beginning of his prescribing he notices a slight aggravation of the symptoms. The fourth observation then relates to cases in which we have no aggravation with recovery of the patient. So this is the fourth observation in which he explained about, that is when you see that fourth observation, in that you have indications that the disease is not of organic changes or there are no structural changes occurred in the patient, the only functional changes, no structural changes in the patient. Then chronic disease is not of great depth. That is, what is the chronic disease is present is not of great depth. Then the potency selected is the exactly correct potency, and the prognosis is good in acute cases, but it is uncertain in chronic cases. So the remedy is curative. So in that case, what to do you? That is, you have to wait and watch till the action of the remedy is finished and what the changes you will see in your patient. So this is the fourth observation. Now the next observation is the fifth observation, that is explained by Dr. Kent. The amelioration comes first and the aggravation comes afterwards is the fifth observation. Amelioration comes first and the aggravation comes afterwards. It is the fifth observation. At times you will see sickly patients fully as sick as the one I mentioned in the first. At times you will see sickly patients fully as sick as the one I mentioned in the first or the second instance. Walk into your office and after long study you administered a remedy. The patient comes back in a few days telling you how much better he was immediately after taking the medicine, and now he has 3 or 4 days of what appears to be decided improvement. So, a prompt action of the remedy. The patient says he is better and the symptoms seem to be better, but wait, and at the end of a week or 4 or 5 days, all the symptoms are worse than then when he first came to you. It is not a very uncommon thing in severe cases, in cases of a good many symptoms, to have an amelioration of the remedy come at once, but whatever you may say, the condition is unfavorable. So either the remedy was only superficial remedy or could only act as a palliative, or the patient was incurable and the remedy was somewhat suitable. Of these One of these two conclusions must be arrived at, and this can only be done by re-examination of the patient and by finding out whether the symptom relate to that remedy. Sometimes you will discover that the remedy was an error. A further study of the case shows that the remedy was only similar to the most grievous symptoms, that it did not cover the whole case and it did not affect the constitutional state of the patient. And then you will see that the patient is an incurable one and the selection was an unfavorable one. So this is related to the fifth observation, that is Dr. Kent explained about. That is, in fifth observation you will see that is amelioration comes first and the aggravation comes afterwards. So in that there are the different indications when you see that observation. So in that case, you will see that the disease is incurable or some structural changes have occurred and there is an exciting factor present in it. That is, when you remove that exciting factor at early stage, the patients feel better, but afterwards he feeling some aggravations. Then the medicine is yes, we are discussing the fifth observation, that is the indications of fifth observation. The medicine is superficially similar or acting as a palliative mode of treatment, or the medicine was similar to some pronounced symptom but did not cover the totality of symptoms, and the patient is incurable. So medicine did not affect the constitution of the subject, so the prognosis is unfavorable in that case. So in that case, what to do? You have to take the fresh case taking, you have to remove the deficiency factor, and you have to antidote the medicine if required. The previous medicine you have to antidote, and doctor should confess if the remedy selection was wrong. So the patient is ready to wait till symptoms pass off. So this is the fifth observation that is seen by Dr. Kent. Now we will shift toward the next observation, that is the sixth observation. So what Dr. Kent explained about, that is this condition is really an unfavorable one. To have a medicine act but a few weeks, whereas it ought to act for months afterwards, will make you suspicious of that patient. If nothing has taken place to interfere with this medicine in his economy, you may suspicious of this case. This sixth observation is too short relief of symptoms. The relief after the constitutional remedy does not last long enough, does not last as long as it ought to. If you examine the third observation, you find that there you have the quick aggravation followed by long amelioration, but in this the sixth you have the amelioration but too short duration. In instance where you have an aggravation immediately after and then a quick rebound, you will never see, absolutely never see too short an action of that remedy, or in other words too short an amelioration of the remedy. If there is a quick rebound, that amelioration should last. If it does not last, it is because of some condition that interferes with the action of the remedy, and it may be unconscious on the part of the patient or it may be intentional. A quick rebound means everything in the remedy means that it is well chosen, that the vital economy is in a good state, and if everything goes well, recovery will take place. So this is regarding the sixth observation, and you all know that the sixth observation is, that is the too short relief of symptoms, means aggravation is quick aggravation, amelioration, but it lasts for a too short period, that is the amelioration lasts for a too short period. This is the sixth observation, and in this you will see that in acute diseases there is a high grade of inflammatory condition of the organs, and amelioration is too short because the patient is in disparate condition. And in chronic disease you will see that the presence of organic change is present, patient is in a very bad shape, the medicine is superficially acting, and the prognosis is bad, the organs are destroyed and being destroyed in that case. So in that case, what to do? In acute case, if there is any obstruction to cure, it should be removed and medicine repeated if the indication of the medicine still exists. So in that case you have to see that what are the obstructions to the cases, and that should be removed, and you have to retake the case and prescribe the remedy to the patient. And if the disease is incurable, then you have to give the palliative treatment should be made in that cases. So this is regarding the sixth observation, that is seen by Dr. Kent as a sixth observation. Then we shift towards the next observation, that is the seventh observation. And what Dr. Kent explained about this seventh observation: once in a while you will see a full-time amelioration of the symptoms, yet no special relief of the patient, which is the seventh observation. That is, patient having a full-time amelioration of the symptom, yet no special relief of the patient, which is the seventh observation that is seen by Dr. Kent. Then there are certain patients that only gain about so much. There are latent conditions or latent existing organic condition in such patients that prevent improvement beyond a certain stage. That is, there are certain patients that only gain about so much. There are latent condition. There is some latent existing organic condition present in that patient, and that in such patient that prevent improvement beyond a certain stage, and that latent stage or that latent existing organic condition prevent improvement beyond a certain stage in that patient. So a patient with one kidney can only improve to a certain degree. Then patient with fibrinous structural change in certain places, tubercles that have become encysted, and lungs capable of doing only limited work will have symptoms, and these symptoms will be ameliorated from time to time with remedies, but the patient is only curable to a certain extent. So in that observation, Dr. Kent wants to explain that when you see there is full time amelioration of the symptoms but no special relief to the patient, that is, what are the symptoms that having the amelioration, but what is the feeling of the patient is not having a special relief to that degree. So in that case, Dr. Kent gives some example, that is a patient having only one kidney. So in that case, when we give the correct medicine, the patient will improve at certain level, and after this there is no cure as there is only one kidney present in a patient. So this is the relief of a, that is, patient amelioration of a patient without special relief to the patient occurs. Then they also give the examples like, that is, patient having a encysted and lungs capable of doing only limited work, that is, there are tubercles present and the tubercles are encysted and remains in the lung as it is, and lungs are capable of doing only limited work. So in that case also we give only the relief to the patient, that is the palliative mode of treatment, and in this there is amelioration of symptoms but no the permanent cure occur in that cases. Then next they explain that remember this, after several medicines have been administered, the amelioration of the case has been existed often the full length of time of the remedies, but the patient has not risen above his own pitch in this length of time. The remedies act favorably, but the patient is not cured and never can be cured. The patient is palliated in this instance, and it is suitable palliation for homeopathic remedies. So this is the condition in which you can give the only palliation to this patient, as there is no permanent cure occurred in that patient, that having only the full time amelioration of symptoms, yet no special relief to the patient occurs. So the remedies act favorably, but the patient is not cured and never can be cured. The patient is palliated in this instant, and it is suitable palliation for homeopathic remedies. So this is regarding the seventh observation that is seen by Dr. Kent. Yes, are you able to understand or any difficulty regarding it? कळतंय ना? समरी बघितलेली आपण याची. याच्यामध्ये आता आपण फक्त हे बघतोय की डॉक्टर केडनं काही स्पेशल सांगितले का त्याच्याबद्दल, किंवा ॲक्च्युली काय सांगितले त्यांनी ऑब्झर्वेशन्सबद्दल. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण 7th ऑब्झर्वपर्यंत कंप्लीट केले. पुढे आता 8 ऑब्झर्वेशनपासून स्टार्ट करतोय आपण. आज हा टॉपिक आपण फिनिश करू. Now starting with 8th observation. Some patients prove every remedy they get. This is the 8th observation and it is regarding the drug proving, or also you call it as regarding the idiosyncrasy or oversensitive patient. That is, some patients prove every remedy they get. Patients inclined to the hysterical, overwrought, oversensitive to all things. The patient is said to have an idiosyncrasy to everything. That patients prove every remedy they get. So in this 8 observation, it is related to the oversensitive patient and the idiosyncratic patients. So the patient is said to have an idiosyncrasy to everything, and these oversensitive patients are often incurable. That is, these patients are often incurable. That is, these are the oversensitive patients. You administered a dose of a high potency and then will go on and prove that medicine, and while under the influence of that medicine, they are not under the influence of anything else. It takes possession of them and acts as a disease dose. The remedy has its prodromal period, its period of progress, and its period of decline. Such patients are provers. They will prove the highest potencies. When you find a patient that proves everything you give in the higher potencies, go back to the 30 or the 200 potency. Such patients are most annoying. You will often cure their acute diseases by giving them the 30 or the 200, and you will relieve their chronic diseases by giving them the 30, 200 or the 500 potency. Many of them are born with this sensitivity and they will die with it. They are not capable of rising above this over irritable and overwrought state. Such oversensitive patients are very useful to the homeopathic physician. After they get out one proving, they are quite ready to repeat it or go into another. So this is the 8 observation that is related to the idiosyncrasy or the oversensitive patients. But these patients never cure, as they prove every remedy they get. So in that cases, when we use the medicines for this idiosyncratic or the oversensitive patient, we have to give very low potencies, and when we give the potencies to them, they prove the remedy they get, and these are the very good patients for the proving purpose but not good for the curing purpose. That is, if you have to cure that oversensitive or the idiosyncratic patient, it is very difficult task. But these patients are very good provers. That is, when you give the medicine, they show each and every symptom of that remedy. That is, these are the good provers, but these are not good for the cure of the patient. So in that 7th observations, you will see that 8th observation, you will see the different indications that the patient may be idiosyncratic, it may be oversensitive patient, the medicine is correct, but the prognosis is bad, as they prove every remedy they get. Then what to do in that cases? The patient should be treated with low potency of the medicine. So this is the 8th observation that is explained by Dr. Kent. Now the next observation is the 9th observation is the action of the medicine upon the provers. This is also related to the drug proving. That is, the action of the medicines upon the provers. That is, what is the action of medicine upon the prover? This is the ninth observation and it is related to the drug proving. Then healthy provers are always benefited by provings if they are properly conducted. That is, healthy provers are always benefited by provings if they are properly conducted. If we do the method of drug proving, this is very good method for the healthy provers, and it will be well observed carefully the constitutional state of an individual, but to become a prover and to write this down and subtract them from the proving. These symptoms will not very commonly appear during the proving if they do not note the change in them. So this is the ninth observation, in which you will see that the healthy provers are always benefited by the provings. Then constitutional state of provers should be carefully observed and subtracted from the proved symptoms, and in this the prognosis is very good. That is, you will see the action of a medicine upon the provers. So in this, the type of action produced by a medicine on healthy prover, it may be a medicinal, it may be a dynamic, it may be a physical, specific, or a general action. And what are the subjective symptoms that you will observe in a patient? That is, with the action of the medicine, that is the general symptoms, particular symptoms, and the common symptoms. So this is the ninth observation. Then next is the 10th observation. The 10th observation relates to new symptoms appearing after the remedy. That is, new symptoms appear after the remedy. When you prescribe the medicine, you will see that there is a new symptoms appear in a patient, and this is mainly related to the medicinal aggravation. That is, when you prescribe the medicine, you will see a new group of symptoms in that patient, and these are not related to the patient, but these are related to the medicine what you prescribe to the patient. So in this, if a great number of new symptoms appear after the administration of a remedy, the prescription will generally prove an unfavorable one. Now and then, the coming of a new symptoms will simply be an old symptom coming up that the patient has not observed and thinks it is new one. That is the 10th observation. If a great number of new symptoms appear after the administration of a remedy, the prescription will generally prove an unfavorable one, and now and then coming of new symptoms will simply be an old symptom coming up that the patient has not observed and thinks it is a new one. The greater the array of the new symptoms coming out after the administration of a remedy, the more doubt there is thrown upon the prescription. The probability is after these new symptoms have passed away, the patient will settle down to the original state and no improvement takes place. It did not sustain a true homeopathic relation. So this is the 10th observation, in which you will see that the individual totality was not pursued properly. That is, when you see a new group of symptoms in a patient, the totality is not pursued properly, the medicine prescribed is a wrong medicine, and the prognosis is bad. So in that case, when the medicinal symptoms go away, the patient will settle down to the original state, needing a fresh case taking and a new medicine. That in this 10th observation, you will see a number of medicinal symptoms, that is a new group of symptoms, and that are related to the medicine and that are not related to the patient. So in that case, you have to prescribe the antidote of that medicine, and you have to cure the patient by giving the antidote to that medicine which give the new group of symptoms after prescribing the remedy. This is the 10th observation. Now in 11th observation, Dr. Kent explained as 11th observation is when old symptoms are observed to reappear. That is, old symptoms are observed to reappear. When you see a number of old symptoms that are reappeared in the body in proportion as old symptoms that have long that have long been away return just in that proportion the disease is curable. They have only disappeared because newer ones have come up. It is quite common thing for old symptoms to appear after the aggravation he come, and hence we see the symptoms disappearing in the reverse order of their coming. Those symptoms that are present out subside, the old symptoms keeping coming up. The physician must know himself that the patient is on the road to recovery, and it is well to say to the patient that this is encouraging, that diseases get well from above downwards. Old symptoms often come back and go off without any change of medicine. It indicates that the medicine must be let alone. If the old symptoms come back to stay, then a repetition of the dose is necessary. So, in 11th observation, Dr. Kent explained about that is the old symptoms reappear, and it is a good sign that your medicine is acting, and it is acting in a Hering's law of cure, that is the symptoms go in the reverse order of their coming. So when you see the old symptoms, it is a good indication, and in this you will see the prognosis is very good, the vitality of the subject is strong, the medicine is correct, the patient is on the way of recovery, then the symptoms are following the Hering's law of direction of cure. So in that case, when you see the old symptoms reappear, in that case you have to medicine must be left alone to act, and if the old symptoms stay long with uneasy of mind, in that case you have to repeat the dose of a medicine, that is if it is not troubling you have to give the medicines to act, but if these symptoms are troubling to the patients, and if it is stay long, in that case you have to give the next or the repeat the dose of the medicine to complete the action of the medicine. So this is the 11th observation of Dr. Kent. Now last, that is the 12th observation. In 12th observation you will see that we will notice sometimes that symptoms take the wrong direction. So the symptoms take the wrong direction, it is the 12th observation that is seen by Dr. Kent. For instance, if you prescribe for a rheumatism of the knees and feet, or for a rheumatism of the hands, and relief takes place at once in the rheumatism of the extremities, but the patient is taken down with violent internal distress that settles in the region of the heart and centers in the spine, you see at once a transference has taken place from circumferences to center, and the remedy must be antidoted at once, otherwise structural change will take place in that new site. When diseases go from center to circumferences, going out from the centers of life, out from the heart, lungs, brain and spine, out from the interiors upon the extremities, it is well. So it is that we find most gouty patients get along best when their fingers and toes are in the worst condition. To prescribe for this and see the heart symptoms grow worse in the most uncomfortable state of affairs, for it is attended with a gradual downward tendency. Eruptions upon the skin and the function. So in this observation they explain about the giving some example, that is in some cases the symptoms take the wrong direction, that is the symptoms may go from center to periphery in the reverse order of their coming, and in that when it takes the wrong direction, that is if the symptoms of extremity is released first, and in that case you must be doubtful, that is it is the must, that is the symptoms go from center to periphery, that is first you have to treat the heart symptoms and then you have to treat the extremity symptoms, but when the extremity symptoms go off, and the symptoms may go deep and deep, and the patient's heart may become hampered, or it may suffer from a symptoms. So in that case you have to remember that the symptoms may go from center to periphery. So this is the 12th observation that is explained by Dr. Kent, and in this way we finish the topic, the Kent's 12 observation. I think all of you understand, or any difficulty regarding it? I think we will finish it in 1 minute, one meeting. Meeting will be end at any time. So please send me the attendance. Yes, it is okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this way we finish this topic. In next lecture we will take the next topic of Kant's philosophy. The topic is finished in one meeting. There is no need to call the second meeting. Or you want?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone having any query?